Just bought here. We're reversing up strongly for a second leg up. So I thought we'd at least test the high of the first leg. I'm not really great at buying during breakouts, but I've been watching these over time and getting a sense of the pace of the breakout and trying to get better at it. So we'll see if this works out here. The last few days of trading have been tough for me because I didn't take any trades yesterday or the day before because the bars have been so big. So just taking a normal trade is like I have to risk 60 or 70 cents and I can't go any lower than trading one share. So I've been stuck because the risk is too big. But I'm also not getting practice that way. So today, even though the risk is big, I decided to take it. So ideally, this is not what the breakout would look like. It wouldn't have a tail. And it's not a breakout above a level. It's just a breakout towards the high of the first leg, so to confirm the second leg. And yeah, ideally, it wouldn't have that tail. So that decreases the probability of it working out. Oops. Didn't submit my stop, so got stopped out there. Clearly a really bad trade, buying high, selling low. And it's tough on a day like this because I would never risk like 90 cents on this trade, but I have no choice because I can only trade one share and I can't go any less than that. And that's the bottom of the breakout. So not much I can do about that. And I don't think it was a high probability buy, but I'm trying to work on these kinds of setups. So like trying to understand the pace of the breakout and trying to get better at buying during strong bars if I can. So I'm glad I took this trade. That's a big loss, 90 cents, that's like 9 scalps. I would normally take this, but that's part of the process. On May 10th, I actually ended up buying pretty much the top here and selling right at the bottom before this massive move up. Obviously, I wouldn't have held through this whole move, but buying the high and selling the exact low almost made me think that if I'm doing the exact opposite of what other people are doing, then there has to be a lesson somewhere in here, because everyone else sold where I bought and bought where I sold. So I thought I have to look at these charts again and figure out what I'm doing wrong. And so when I started to look at charts like this, initially my premise was that this channel up is tight enough that this move down is not going to lead to a new low. I thought we'd get a second leg up before getting a new low. And when we started to break out strongly, from what I remember of the charts of when I've seen this happen, is that when the pace is good and it's pushing against the highs of the bar, it gets up to a new high. At least to test the high of the first leg up. But when I looked at the other charts, I realized that when the move down is strong like this, with the big bear bar here and then follow through, usually we don't break above the high. So that was just a misread on my part, because I thought that that's typically what happens, but then just by looking at the charts again, I realized that that's actually not what happens. It usually has to go sideways first. So I'll try to find a couple examples of that. Actually, there's actually one example just yesterday, May 9th. So right here, big gap down, tight channel down, but then strong move up here. So 2 big bull bars, probably not going to lead to a new low on the sell. And then we got a strong bear bar here, and we started to reverse up strongly, and again got the tail on top. This is actually the day before, so I think that's interesting that the exact same thing happened the day before, but I didn't learn the lesson about it until I took the trade. And I think that's why me taking these trades and making mistakes is so important, because when I look back, I'm thinking like this was right in front of my face yesterday too, but I just don't think the lessons get ingrained unless I make the mistake and then force myself to go find out what I did wrong. So here it formed a tail. We did not get up to a new high. First we came down to the low and tested the low first, which is where I got stopped out on the 10th. Right here I got stopped out at the low, but here there were buyers, and here too. After the strong bounce up, we came down and there were buyers here as well. Now here I didn't there were buyers right there as well, and we got a strong bounce. Now this one didn't lead to a massive move up right away. It came back down to a new low first, but the concept was the same. After a strong move up, I ended up buying high, but most people sold up here because of the strength down, and then they bought down here. Here's another example right here. So strong move down, tight channel up. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 bars without a pullback. So that means, the way I interpret this is that the sell below this channel up is not going to lead to a new low until getting a second leg up. And here we got a strong move up, but it did not go to a new high right away. First it had to go sideways. And from what I remembered from analyzing these charts is that we would go straight up. But from all the examples I've looked at now, it doesn't happen often. It actually has to go sideways first because of the strength to the downside. So here we went sideways for 4 bars and then got to break above this high right here. And today on the 10th, we didn't go sideways, we went down actually. But still, I should be assuming that we're not going to get to a new high right away, and that with the strength to the downside, it's going to need to go sideways first or down first. So here's another example. Tight channel up, a lot of bull bars in this channel, and then we got a strong move down, but because of the tight channel and the amount of bull bars in the channel, probably not going to go to a new low. Instead, probably going to get a second leg up. And here again, because of the strength down, these 3 strong bear bars, we didn't break to a new high again. We held below the high. First we had to go sideways, and then we make a move to the upside. So my entire premise for the trade on the 10th here is invalid. Like I shouldn't have been assuming that we're going to get a new high. I should have been assuming sideways first. And if I had known that, I wouldn't have taken the trade, because I was working on the premise that we're about to break through to a new high. So that was my mistake. And so that's kind of the lesson of why I shouldn't have bought up here. Now, the lesson of not selling down here is that there are actually often buyers there. And a few examples are like right here. So gap down, tight channel, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bars without a pullback. So strong tight channel up after a gap down and a move down. So probably not getting a new low. I think we have to go sideways first. And then here we had a bull bar, a move up, and when we came back down on this bar, that tail, well, there were buyers right at the low of that bar. So after the strong bounce, there are buyers, not sellers, and that's where I sold. Same thing here. Gap down, tight channel down, strong move up after this big bull bar. So might go to a new low, but after this bounce here, there were buyers below where I would have stopped out. So after the bounce, I was buying up here at the top and then stopping out at the bottom. But looks like most traders, if it does bounce strongly, they're buying down here. So I did the opposite of what I probably should be doing, and I should be looking to buy down after a strong bounce up. If it comes back down to a new low, it gives me an opportunity to buy. I should be buying there and not trying to get the top after a strong move down. I hope that's clear. It's still kind of jumbled in my mind, but I'm getting a sense of what I did wrong, so I hope I'm explaining it properly.